How important was for you the support that you got from your parents?
My family mainly helped me with my self-confidence. They know what I am capable of.
So by the time you reached class 12th, right, what were the key things that stood out in the Allen ecosystem for you that helped in your JEE performance?
One thing about Allen is their frequent tests. And I know many people will say that Allen's tests aren't relevant or they're too hard. But I find that trying to predict the sort of questions that can come on the exam day, it's trying to teach you how to deal with anxiety and stress in an exam environment. And by increasing the difficulty, it's trying to put you in an unfamiliar environment.
For those students who struggle with stress, academic pressure, how exactly did your communication with the teachers benefit you?
Definitely, that having someone to reach out to is a really important thing, whether it's your teachers, whether it's your parents, whether it's your friends.
What would be your success mantra that you would like to share with all our viewers?
The most important thing I feel is to your exam temperament.
It's often said that success is a ladder you walk on or take step by showing up daily for it. However, the success story becomes even more enriching if it starts earlier than you had anticipated. It's so important to take the first step as early as possible to actually become more confident about your preparation in JEE Advanced. And one such success story is right here with us. We have Aniket, who has exceptionally performed in JEE Advanced 2026. Congratulations, Aniket, for your wonderful result. I'm sure you must be ecstatic about it. What was your first reaction?
I mean, when my parents and we saw the reaction, we saw the result. We weren't really expecting such tremendous result. So my parents were very happy.
Nice.
I was shaking, and I I was really surprised, but I am very happily surprised. So I'm just.
So were your expectations kind of met, or was it beyond what you had expected?
Way beyond my expectations, really. Like I was initially after the exam, I felt like maybe I haven't performed to my full potential, right? So that is one thing that I learned. Like, don't trust what you feel immediately after the exam.
True.
Right. When the result comes, your hard work, your efforts will speak for the result, right? And so.
And this self-doubt that you are referring to, it's one of the most common things that we see among a lot of students who walk out of the examination hall thinking that I could have done better. Yeah. So in today's conversation, what we'd like you to share with all our viewers would be your JEE preparation journey and how did it really shape itself at Allen, right? So tell us more about when you decided to join Allen. How did that decision come to be?
Okay, so I joined Allen in my 8th standard, mainly through the recommendations of some of my friends and my brother. And it was during online year, so maybe I wasn't really taking it as seriously as I should have, but my exposing myself to this new environment and trying to learn how to balance multiple things in my life, it was really helped my growth, right? So
so the conscious decision of choosing your preparation even in your foundation years, right? You decided to start early because what were you looking for?
Mainly because as time goes on, these exams become more and more competitive. So it is important to get an early start to familiarize yourself with the system, even if you're not really specifically already starting to prepare for the exam. Just getting used to this sort of competitive atmosphere is important.
Agreed. The exposure is what comes with the environment. So what do you think was part of the Allen ecosystem that gave you the environment that helped you build your basics for this competitive journey ahead?
So in this Allen's competitive environment, I found keeping a good peer group to have engaging discussions with, to discuss doubts with, to bounce ideas against, and to not just to talk about studies, but also like things that we enjoy in our lives.
Nice.
To that sort of output, especially with people who are you consider your equals. That is really important.
True.
It is important to have this sort of social interaction
Yeah.
even in 11th and 12th to stabilize yourself mentally, right?
Agreed. Finding the right set of people whom
Right.
you can grow with, whom you can learn
Exactly.
with, right? How important was for you the support that you got from your parents, from your family? You said your brother had a very big role in this journey. Tell us more about that.
So, my family mainly helped me with my self-confidence.
Mhm.
Like, they believe they know what I am capable of, right?
Yes.
And in times when I feel like, oh, I don't think I can do this, my family and my brother, they're the people who, really push me to
Wonderful.
work harder, to, believe in myself. And
Building that support system at home itself is a very big part
exactly.
of a success journey. So I'm sure the happiness that you have today with wonderful result in JEE Advanced could not have been complete had they not been by your side.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm
All
very
right.
grateful.
Coming to the part of how did the JEE Advanced preparation start in class 11th for you, let us take a walkthrough as to how the preparation journey started in 11th for you.
Of course. So in 11th, if I'm being completely honest, I really wasn't performing to the absolute best that I could, right? And a huge part of this was the sudden change in pace and difficulty level.
Agreed.
From before 11th and after 11th, right?
Right.
So I found that sudden step that I had to take, I found that very difficult. And I found that whatever confidence that I had built up until that point, I slowly I started losing it, and at a point I reached like my all-time low, right?
And that must have been difficult.
It was really difficult, and that is one thing that I'm grateful. During the slowest point, my family helped support me. So after 11th, like from that slightly disastrous year,
or you could say the learning, the perfect learning.
I learned things, exactly. It was perfect. It was the perfect learning.
True.
I saw the shift from 11th to 12th. Now that I had a year to familiarize myself, I took 12th standard as a fresh start. I found myself, enjoying the process more.
Nice.
Right? That is a very important part of it, right?
Yeah.
I enjoyed the process. I viewed the tests not like with fear, right? I viewed them as what they are meant to be, as learning experiences, right?
Right.
And I tried to make myself more flexible, right? I experimented a bit more, I'd say, with the things I tried. I
built your strategy gradually.
Yes, exactly.
Perfect.
So, and this helped me rebuild a lot of the confidence I lost in 11th.
So by the time you reached class 12th, right, what were the key things that stood out in the Allen ecosystem for you that helped in your JEE performance?
One thing about Allen is their frequent tests. And I know many people will say that Allen's tests aren't relevant or they're too hard. But I find that more than trying to predict the sort of questions that can come on the exam day, it's trying to teach you how to deal with anxiety and stress in an exam environment. And by increasing the difficulty, it's trying to put you in an unfamiliar environment, right?
Correct.
So in that sense, each test in Allen, they felt similar, but each test was unique in the sense, in the learning set.
In the learning aspect.
Exactly.
So the variety kind of actually worked for you, right?
Yes.
It helped you look through your trial and errors and find out the perfect strategy.
Yeah. It really highlighted my strengths and weaknesses. Sometimes when I see a question from a chapter I don't know, I used to just leave the question on side. Right. But as I started writing more and more tests, I realized maybe the so-called weak chapters of mine,
right,
they need not ask a question that I'm not able to solve.
Absolutely.
So with these frequent tests, I was able to realize that there is no such thing as a strength or weakness. It's just, how you approach the question.
How you approach the question. Exactly. The strategy you build has to really tackle the kind of approach you're developing for each question, for each topic per se. Also, what would you like to tell us to all our viewers who are still afraid of taking tests? Because you said it's a learning opportunity. What really comes after taking a test? How should you deal with your test performance? And how important is error analysis post each exam?
Right. So, I've personally seen a lot of my friends who were scared of writing tests or mock tests, and they tried avoiding them as much as possible.
Yeah.
And I can see the difference between the people who avoided the test and people who wrote the test regularly. Right? Even if the performance in your mocks aren't as per your expectations,
Right.
the learnings that you can take on how to handle stress and how to manage yourself, how to manage time in the exam, how to stay calm, that is very important.
Yeah.
And just and about paper analysis,
Yeah.
I really, honestly, as much as some of my peers did paper analysis, I didn't find myself doing it as much. Like
Okay.
after a particularly bad test, I felt, okay, I should really start doing paper analysis from here. But I found that sort of habit a little bit difficult for myself to keep.
Okay.
So I, instead of rigorously writing every single mistake I made, I instead started looking at all of the questions I got and trying to, instead of writing it down, just thinking about what sort of silly mistake maybe I might have made.
Understood.
And if it is a specifically a concept that I didn't know,
Yeah.
I made sure that was what I would write down.
Correct.
Like it was a concept that I didn't know, I would write that down. But if it was like a silly mistake, I would try to keep it in mind, and then I would try to avoid it if I in the future.
Making a mental checklist for yourself.
Exactly.
Perfect. I'm glad that all of this trials and tribulations that you had through your preparation strategy worked out in your favor ultimately. One thing that we would love to know from you, Aniket, is that for those students who struggle with stress, academic pressure, how exactly did your communication with the teachers benefit you throughout your preparation journey? Because there are a lot of students who still feel that, okay, you would pile up all your doubt areas, probably not reach out regularly to your teachers, and not communicate honestly what are your challenges that you're facing. How important it is to reach out to your support system, to your teachers, and what role does it play in your performance ultimately?
Definitely, that having someone to reach out to is a really important thing. Whether it's your teachers, whether it's your parents, whether it's your friends, right? Just the important thing is to not bottle up all of these thoughts that you're having, bottle up all these emotions. You should have someone to talk to.
Absolutely.
Right? And about doubts, it's important that you should try to clear them as soon as possible. Right? If that doubt keeps eating up inside, you won't be able to focus on the other important parts of your preparation.
Coming to the ultimate advice, what would be your success mantra that you would like to share with all our viewers with respect to how they could ace their JEE preparation?
The most important thing I feel is to your exam temperament, right? You should, if I want to talk about what I did on the previous day before the exam, I made sure not to touch any of my books.
Correct.
I watched a movie with my parents. So like on that last day, you've been preparing for 2 years, right?
Yeah.
So you should have that self-confidence that whatever I've done is enough, right? In this last minute, just trying to cram, it's not going to help anyone.
Agreed.
So you should have that self-confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
And if I'm talking about on the day of the exam, I made sure before the paper, like for that 30 minutes, I cleared my mind, I meditated, I gathered my thoughts, I tried to, the important thing is like you shouldn't be thinking about what the result of the exam is. You should, more than trying to see the exam as like a battlefield, you should really see it like a dance, you should enjoy it, right? And that is important. And if I'm talking about, because JEE Advanced has 2 papers, in the break between the 2 papers, it's absolutely important that you forget about whatever happened in the first paper. Whether it went well, whether it went bad, just forget about it because it's 2 different papers. You should view them separately, right? What really helped in me trying to forget about the first paper is in between the papers, after eating my lunch, I took a short 30-minute nap, right? And after the nap, like, it was short enough that I didn't feel too sleepy, but I felt well rested and I felt rejuvenated for the next paper.
Cool.
So that was really important. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a strategy which all of you should keep in mind while you're preparing for your developing exam temperament that is essential for JEE Advanced. One thing also that before ending today's conversation, if you could highlight, were there any particular areas that you pretty much had a tough time while subject wise or topic wise, which you could probably caution our viewers regarding that this is how you tackle your weak areas?
For me, my main weakness, I would say, is my physics in 11th standard. I found, like, whenever a question came, I was like, oh, how do I approach this question?
Yeah.
I had no idea. But like I said, through practice, I learned that maybe even though it's my weak point, it doesn't mean that I won't be able to solve a question that comes. You should keep your chemistry strong because that is the most scoring aspect of the JEE Advanced paper. You should, if you're finding that your physics and maths are good, but your chemistry isn't good, you should really work on your chemistry, because that is something that everyone else will be working on, right? And it has a really high floor. So you should make your chemistry strong is my main advice.
Yeah, so no matter how many troublesome hours they have with chemistry, work with whatever you can. Great. Thank you so much, Aniket, for taking out time to do this. It was lovely having this interaction with you. Thank you.
Thank you.